Do you believe that with just a few eggs and one small secret, we can make a fluffy fried egg dish that is light as a cloud and melts in your mouth? Lightly golden on the outside, soft and airy on the inside, fluffy and delicate, it almost melts as soon as you take a bite. The best part is that this egg dish uses very little oil, is very easy to make at home, and anyone can succeed. Hello everyone, I'm Mary. Today, I'm going to share with you how to make fluffy fried eggs in a 5-star restaurant style. More importantly, I'll clearly explain why each step is done this way, so you can understand the technique and succeed every time you make it. First, I prepare 2 fresh chicken eggs. Fresh eggs are a very important factor in this dish. After preparing the eggs, I crack them and separate the egg whites and egg yolks into 2 different bowls. For this fluffy fried egg dish, the egg whites are the key element that determines how fluffy the eggs will be, so I always do this step very carefully. Make sure that no egg yolk gets into the egg whites, not even a little bit, because the fat in the yolk will make it very difficult for the whites to whip properly. The eggs will collapse easily and will not achieve the airy texture we want. You don't need any special egg separating tools. I simply use a basic method by transferring the yolk back and forth between the 2 halves of the eggshell. The egg white will naturally flow down into the bowl, making this step very easy to do. The fresher the eggs are, the firmer the whites will be, and the quicker and cleaner this separation step becomes. One small but extremely important detail is that the bowl used for the egg whites must be completely clean and dry, with no oil, butter, or water at all. Even a tiny amount of grease left in the bowl can prevent the egg whites from whipping properly. That's why before separating the eggs, I always check to make sure the bowl is completely dry to ensure the next step is successful. After separating the eggs, I start with the egg yolks first. I add a small pinch of salt to the bowl of egg yolks, then use a fork to gently mix until the salt is completely dissolved. Seasoning the yolks at this stage helps the flavor become evenly balanced, so when the yolks are later combined with the whites, the eggs won't be salty in some spots and bland in others. I don't mix vigorously, just enough to make the yolks smooth and uniform, then I set the bowl of yolks aside. Now I move on to the egg whites, which are the most important part in determining whether the eggs will turn out fluffy or not. I hold the whisk and begin whipping the egg whites using circular motions or a figure-8 motion, whisking steadily and patiently. At first, the egg whites are still very liquid, but after a short while, you'll start to see large bubbles forming on the surface. I continue whisking until the bubbles become smaller and more numerous, forming a fine, foamy texture. At this point, I add 1 teaspoon of sugar, but I don't add it all at once. Instead, I add it gradually, little by little, while continuing to whisk. This helps the sugar dissolve evenly and prevents the air bubbles from collapsing. Many people think that adding sugar will make the eggs sweet, but in reality, that's not the case. This small amount of sugar does not give the eggs a noticeable sweetness. Its purpose is to stabilize the air bubbles, helping the egg whites become firmer, smoother, and able to hold their volume longer during cooking. Without sugar, the egg whites can still become fluffy, but they will collapse much more quickly when exposed to heat. When the egg whites start to thicken and the bubbles become finer, I slightly increase the whisking speed. You can also tilt the bowl at about a 30 to 45 degree angle to make whipping easier and faster. I continue whisking until, when I lift the whisk, the peaks of the egg whites stand upright without falling over, and the surface looks smooth and firm. This is the perfect stage for making fluffy fried eggs. When the egg whites have been whipped to the proper consistency, I take the bowl of egg yolks that I seasoned earlier and slowly pour the yolks into the bowl of whipped egg whites. Then, I use a silicone spatula or a soft spoon to combine them. I do not stir in a circular motion, and I do not mix forcefully. Instead, I use a folding motion. This means I bring the spatula down to the bottom of the bowl, gently lift the mixture from the bottom up, and fold it over the top. I always fold in one consistent direction, moving slowly and patiently. This folding technique allows the egg yolks to blend into the egg whites without breaking the air bubbles that were created during whipping. If you stir too hard or mix randomly, the air bubbles will collapse immediately, the mixture will deflate, and the eggs will turn dense instead of fluffy when cooked. If you like, at this stage you can add some finely chopped green onions or cilantro to enhance the aroma. However, I only add a small amount, because adding too much will make the egg mixture heavier and affect how fluffy the eggs turn out when fried. After the egg mixture is ready, I place a pan on the stove and set the heat to very low, the lowest possible. For this dish, low heat is the key factor. If the heat is too high, the eggs will cook too quickly, collapse, and lose their fluffy texture. I add a very small amount of cooking oil or butter to the pan. If you have butter, the aroma will be more pleasant, but cooking oil works just as well. When the butter has just melted, I gently tilt the pan to coat the surface evenly. Then I slowly pour the egg mixture into the pan, spreading it out evenly so the eggs form a flat, uniform layer. Immediately after that, I cover the pan with a lid and begin cooking for about 5 minutes over low heat. During this time, I do not open the lid, do not stir, and do not shake the pan. Covering the pan helps trap heat and steam inside, allowing the eggs to cook slowly, soften gradually, and puff up gently without drying out or burning on the bottom. After about 5 minutes, I open the lid. At this point, you'll see that the eggs have set and hold their shape, but when you press gently, they are still very soft. This is the perfect moment to gently roll the eggs up. I roll them slowly, without pressing too hard, so the outer layer of eggs can make more contact with the pan and cook evenly. After rolling, I cover the pan again and cook for about 1 more minute. This short time helps the rolled eggs keep a nice shape and continue cooking evenly using the remaining heat in the pan. After 1 minute, I gently turn the rolled eggs over to the other side, cover the pan again, and cook for another 1 minute. The heat remains very low. This step allows the bottom side to cook fully, giving the eggs a light golden color that looks beautiful, without becoming dry or tough. After the eggs have cooked for the full time, I open the lid and take a moment to observe the rolled eggs. At this point, the eggs have held their shape very nicely. The surface looks smooth and evenly cooked, just dry enough, with no burnt or overly brown spots. I use a spatula to gently lift the roll of eggs and place it onto a plate. Now comes the most enjoyable part. I use a knife to cut the egg roll in half horizontally. As soon as you cut into it, you'll see that the inside of the eggs is very soft, light, and slightly fluffy, not dense and not dry. The outer layer is cooked just right, while the inside still retains moisture, making each bite gentle and pleasant. If you look closely, you'll notice that the eggs are not full of holes and have not collapsed. This is because we kept the heat low throughout the cooking process and covered the pan at the right times. Cooking the eggs slowly prevents the proteins from tightening too much, which is why the eggs turn out so soft and easy to eat. This egg dish is delicious on its own, but it also pairs very well with bread for a light breakfast or a simple afternoon meal. The eggs are soft, use very little oil, are not greasy, and are especially suitable for older adults. Children also love this dish because it is fragrant, easy to chew, easy to digest, and still very nutritious. And that's it, the fluffy, soft fried eggs are complete. Just keep the heat low and follow each step carefully, and you can enjoy a delicious, light, and easy to eat egg dish right at home. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the Merry Home channel to see more simple cooking tips every day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.